Hi, this is Logan Street from Solera. Today I'm going to show you in DealerSocket how to use our Receipt Builder UI. What the Receipt Builder UI allows you to do is customize the deal breakdown on your desking pencil that you would present to a customer. Oftentimes you'll be able to use this to go make small changes, such as label changes or taking certain fields off, or if you need to completely rebuild it so that it fits whatever regulations or preferences that you have, you can do that as well. Today we're going to go over some of those common small changes and how to make those, as well as how to essentially build it from scratch. So first of all, the first thing that you'll want to do is reach out to your DealerSocket CSM and ensure that they have turned on the correct permissions on the back end that allow you to use the Receipt Builder UI. To access the Receipt Builder UI, all you have to do is click on your admin menu, go to Desking, and then Desking, set up an admin level 2. We'll let this load up to the defaults page, and once that's loaded, you can come up here to the left-hand side and click where it says defaults and drop down to print. So once I've got print right here, I can go to the right of print and go to compare forms. And then on that drop down, I can click on Receipt Builder. So once I've got my Receipt Builder up, let me talk about the navigation here. So the first option that we're looking at right here is for a finance deal on a new vehicle. I can toggle through all of these different options and come up with whatever I want as far as the Receipt Builder breakdown, and then whether it's new or used on all of those. Keep in mind that if you do change one and you want it to be reflected across everything, you will need to go through and specify new and used and so on and so forth. The other thing that you can do is you can come up here and you can hit reset to default, and that will just reset everything that you did. So if you get halfway through it and you don't feel comfortable, or maybe you want to restart, you can go ahead and hit reset to default. Keep this in mind as well. You cannot save multiple versions. So whatever version you have in here is the version that will populate on your desking printout. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is just kind of how this is set up. So we have different sections, as you can see, like it's a section right there. We come down, we have section, and so on and so forth. These are broken out by these lines here in the breakdown. Okay. The next thing that I want to show you is let's just break down this top section right here. So first off, on this top section, we have this MSRP field, and we have retail price listed right here. So essentially what this is doing is we've got this MSRP field and it's labeled as retail price. If I wanted to change that to MSRP, I could do that, and you notice it will actually update over here on the receipt preview for that, right? Maybe I wanted to specify my dealership's name and the site that I'm in right now is a demo site. It's CSM Socket Motors. So maybe I call it CSM Socket Motors price, right? As soon as I click out of that, you can see it reflects right here. So this will give you an idea of what this is going to look like. Another thing to keep in mind that with this breakdown is if we don't have it, like if there's not a value in one of these fields, it won't populate. So if we're not discounting a vehicle, no worries, it's not going to show discount 0. That won't carry over, so just keep that in mind. And if we don't have rebates, that won't carry over also. So that's one way that you can adjust this. The other things that we can do here, so for example, discount, this one we actually use a custom math field. So you can see it's custom math field is the option here, and then we have discount is what it's labeled as. And then all this custom math field is we just specify through simple calculations how to get to the number that we want to get to, right? So discount's pretty simple, right? It would be our MSRP minus sale price. So as you can see, as that's coming down, it's moving, it's kind of coming down there. And then we have our rebates line that reflects right here. We have custom math field, so on. Maybe I wanted to edit the rebates line. and I want to make it say manufacturer, let's do that, rebates. Now it carries over to here. So that's an easy way to make those adjustments. If they don't have a field, you just hit that edit sign and that'll do that. If I wanted to italicize that, I can hit that italicize button and you can see it will italicize it over here. And if I wanted to bold it out, I could bold it out as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that off, but you can see at the end of that section, we have our net selling price and it is a custom math field. Okay, like I said, some of the common things that we'll see is changing the title, right? If it has something out here already, you can just update that. If it's missing a title, so like gap, maybe we just wanted to call it gap on our form, you just hit this pencil right here and type in what you want it to come across as. So it says gap over here on this screen now. Okay. The other thing that one of the common things that I've seen, just because it can create some confusion, is and when I say why it would create confusion, if we present a customer with multiple payment options based off of term and down payment, whatever payment is selected in that matrix is the way that the breakdown is going to populate. And if you haven't talked about down payment with a customer, and your first option's $2,000, your second option's $4,000, your third option's $6,000. Like I said, whatever's selected is how this is going to break down, and it'll show the cash down payment here. So it can be confusing for a customer to see this 20,000 mark when in reality the price of the vehicle is that sales subtotal. So I have seen instances where we'll leave the payoff, but we'll take the cash down out of this equation here. So to do that, we just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can see that this total amount due section is separate. So we're going to kind of come up here, and then all we need to do in that to make that not reflect is go in here and go ahead and take this cash down option out. It'll say, do you want to delete this? Yes, we do. And then the other thing that we need to keep in mind is if we're looking at how this is broken down, we need to take that cash down amount out of the total amount due. So we're just going to come in here and we're going to, thankfully this is right on the end. So all we're going to do is hit this back button and that'll take that out. Keep in mind, if it's something that you're taking out further on in the equation, you have to, you'll want to kind of either take a screenshot or write down the way that this is broken out so that you can put it all back in again once that's done in order to put those back in. So if I wanted to add cash down back into there, I would go ahead and hit minus and then hit cash down and move that over, and that would update that. Okay, so that should give you a pretty good idea of how to make easy adjustments here, whether it's changing a label or whether it's adjusting a calculation or adding a field, that sort of a thing. Okay, next we're going to go over a potential situation. Let's say a customer emails us or not a customer emails us, or maybe you want it done a certain way, but I'm going to give you the example from the customer success manager's point of view. Let's say we had a customer email us a breakdown that they wanted, and I'm going to show you from scratch how to build this. So I'm going to go ahead and just start removing all of these fields. And keep in mind, if I screw up and I decide that maybe I don't want to go this direction, I can always click that reset to default, and it will throw everything back in here for me. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and get this all removed. And then we're going to go ahead and build this out. So the example that I have is this PDF here. This is a purchase order. And we're going to say that the dealership sent us this, and they want this breakdown with the exception of the items that are highlighted in yellow. So they don't necessarily need the protection package broken out. That can be included here in additions. And then they don't want their luxury. Maybe where they live, they don't have a luxury tax, and then they just want their fees broken out into one line versus the others. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this out. So price of the vehicle is where we're going to start. And then one thing to note is it's not a bad idea to kind of write out some of your calculations. I just grab a notepad and I just kind of like add this stuff together so I have it for reference. rather than having to think about every single line. If you just sit down and do it, you have all of the information that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add section. We're going to add a line item, which is going to be, wow, perfect, sale price. Okay, so the sale price on that form that we had, it was titled as price of vehicle. So we're going to update that. You can see on the right, we have our price of vehicle. And then I'm going to hit, we need to add additions next. So I'm going to hit add line item, hit this drop down right here, and we're going to come down to aftermarkets. So as far as the options with the aftermarkets go, I can break this down in a couple ways. So if I hit aggregate, that's just totaling it up as far as how many items we have total. I can itemize that, meaning if I have multiple aftermarkets, I can list those I can list all those aftermarkets individually. Or if I'm wanting to highlight a specific aftermarket, I can specify that aftermarket only. One thing to keep in mind here is if you do specify that aftermarket, you would need to come through and specify the other aftermarkets as well. That being said, I'm just going to leave this one as an aggregate. And then we're going to go ahead and change the verbiage there from aftermarkets to additions. Okay, and you can see on the right, it's keeping track of that right there. Okay, retail price, or yeah, retail sale price, which I think is what we're showing right here. Okay, so just retail price. We need to add that. So we're going to add another line item. And on this one, we're going to use a custom math field. So if you scroll down to the bottom, we can come down here to custom math field, and we're going to take the sell price and add it to the aftermarkets. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab sell price plus, scroll down, and we'll grab aftermarkets. And then just so I can see this a lot clearer, I'm going to go ahead and bold that field out. And then I'll add the name to it. So if I come in here and I write this, I think it was retail price is how it showed up on that. So we can see over on the right, we have that. Now that I have that first section broke out, I'm going to create another section. So I can come down to the bottom and I can hit add section. And trade-in purchase price. So this would be our trade-in value. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit add line item, and we're going to find the trade amount field, and then we're going to just retitle that as trade-in purchase price. Okay. Next line we're going to add is going to be the trade difference. This is also a calculation field. So we're going to go ahead and grab custom math field, and then we're just going to work the math out. So in order to get the trade difference, we're going to show sales price plus aftermarkets. So we're going to come and grab sales price plus aftermarkets, and then we're going to add, or let's see, it's not add, but minus. Oh, hold on, let's add the aftermarkets back in there. Oh, got to restart here. Sorry. Okay, sales price plus aftermarkets. Where's our aftermarkets? Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Minus the trade amount. All right. And then if we look at our example that the customer sent over, we need trade-in or trade difference is the title that they're using right there. So we're going to customize this label, and we're just going to call it trade difference. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that shows up right there. On this one, just so that it's clean, I'm going to go ahead and bold that filled out, and then we'll create another section for the document fee. Okay, so we're going to come down, we're going to create a new section. So document fee / processing fee, we're just going to add a new line item, and I'm going to come down to all fees right here, and then I'm going to specify the fee, documentation fee. Okay, so there's my doc fee, and I'm not sure why that's showing twice. There might be more than one on this one, so let's itemize that. Yeah, so on this site, there's more than one doc fee. That's why it's showing up that way, but it shouldn't normally. So we're going to leave that like that. And then we can add another subtotal line, which is what it's showing. So we can come down to our custom math field, and let's just call this as what it is, subtotal. We'll bold it out. And then we just got to continue that calculation that we've got going on from up above. So we're going to go to the bottom. Let's see. Where's our custom math field? Actually, we're already in a custom math field. My bad. Okay, so doc fee. So now we need to do sell price again, plus aftermarkets. So just keep in mind, you have to, as you're building these down and you've got different sections where it totals it up, you have to continually rebuild essentially the same formula, if you will, every time, but you're just adding more to it as you go down. So let's go to the trade amount. So minus trade amount, and then we're going to add the doc fee. So if we go to fees, all fees, documentation fee, okay, and that should be good there. So next section as we move down is our sales tax and fees. So the way they wanted it was sales tax and fee. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add a new section, add a new line. Let's go down to all taxes. And with this, I can break this out again, or I can just leave it as an aggregate. The way that it's set up right now, we're going to leave it as an aggregate, but we're going to change this to sales tax so that it matches what the customer has sent us. And then we're going to add another line for fees, all fees. And again, we can break that out or we can leave it as is. And I'm just going to say fees. And then we don't need to total that one up because they don't necessarily have that totaled right there. So we're going to leave that one there, and we're going to add another section for the service contract. Now, you could also add gap warrant or your gap and maintenance as well if you needed to. In this example, we're just going to add the service contract. It might be that they don't offer gap or maintenance on the front end. Maybe that's only a back end offer, so they might not be presenting it at this point. So let's go ahead and let's scroll down to VSC service contract. We're going to retitle that as service contract. Okay, and then we're going to have another total. So let's go add another section, and we're going to come down to our custom math field. And we're just going to call it total, and I'm going to bold that. And then again, same thing, right? So we're just going to take our sales price plus aftermarkets minus the trade amount, okay, plus the doc fee. And then I've got this written down here. Plus let's do this. So because we already have the documentation fee in there, I'm going to go ahead and just take this out, and I'm going to hit documentation, or let's see. Got to restart here. I had split out the document fee, and I necessarily didn't want to do that. I could just list it as all fees with how this is broken out. So sell price plus aftermarkets minus the trade okay, plus all fees. So the doc fee shouldn't be included in that. So we're going to go ahead and just hit all fees plus all taxes. Okay. And then plus the service contract. All right. At that point, we've got all that filled out and we should be good there. So your total's coming out correctly here. All right. As we look at this example again, we're going to want to add the balance on the trade-in, come up with another total, and then get our cash down on our rebate. So let's move on and do those. So we're going to add another section. And this is where their payoff is going to go. So we can come down to the trade payoff, and let's title that as balance owed on trade-in. Okay. And then we're going to add another custom math field here. Again, sell price plus aftermarkets. Kind of gets old having to redo this, but like I said, the benefits I think outweigh the some of the struggles you'll go through when you build this the first time. Trade amount. I'm just kind of looking at this. All fees. All taxes. And then service contract. And then we'll add that payoff field here as well. And we'll bold this field out and we'll call it total, as that's what it's called on their sheet here as well. Okay. Moving on, we need to do the cash deposit or down payment and rebate. So we'll add another section here. We'll add a line item, cash down, rebates. Okay. They wanted to change that to cash deposit slash down payment. And then rebates, they just wanted to call it rebates. All right. And then we've got I think we've got, yeah, this is actually our final custom math field. So again, we got to set it up the same way we've set this up. So sales price plus aftermarkets minus trade amount. You scroll up here and look at this, plus fees and taxes. Plus service contract. Plus payoff. And then we're going to subtract these two fields. So we're going to come in, we're going to go minus cash down and minus rebate. And then they want to call this balance to finance and bold it out. So we've got this breakdown right here. If we look, price of the vehicle, that change, and you could put this all in caps if you wanted to as well, but we've got that, additions, trade-in, everything looks good at this point. So at this point, all I'm gonna do is come up here and hit save. Keep in mind that if I wanted to do this for the used as well, I'd just come over here and I'd hit used and I'd be able to break that down. We're gonna go ahead and test this out. So I'm gonna go back to the home screen. I'm gonna refresh the page real quick. Sometimes I mean, I'm not sure if you have to refresh the page. I just do it every time when I make a change like that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to sales, desking, and let's just do a quick quote. Okay. And this is actually our desking 3.0, but for demonstration purposes, this isn't going to matter. The printout doesn't really change at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a new vehicle. Let's just go ahead and hit new 2022 Ford something. I see all-wheel drive. Let's go ahead and do that, as well as throw a trade-in value here. So let's say that the ACV is 5,000 and they have a $2,000 payoff. I'm just throwing these in here so that we have something in terms of to go off of with our printout here. So let's throw the aftermarkets that we have defaulted in that site in here, as well as a service contract. And once we've got all that, let's throw a rebate line, 5,000 down. It looks good to me. So we're going to go ahead and click print, and we'll see how this looks on our breakout. So let's only show that finance breakdown. And let's see here. I might need to set one permission. Hold on just a second. I had the receipt builder permission on the back end turned on, but there looks like there's one permission that I missed. Okay, so we got that fixed. Well, actually, I probably need to refresh my screen. Just a second. Okay, we got her going now. Just a note for CSMs, the two permissions that need to be turned on at administrator are receipt builder UI and print configure details. I did not have print configure details turned on, which is also required for this. So with print configure details turned on, you can see the breakdown right here. You can actually turn on and off each line here. But you can see this is broken down exactly the way that that we had set it up, and it still has this toggle for your savings as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just print this to kind of give you an example of what this will look like, and we can hold it up to the other PDF side by side to see how we did. Okay, so price of the vehicle, additions, retail price, right? Trade-in difference, documentation processing fee. I guess I didn't change the wording there, but that's okay. We can go ahead and change that if we need to. Subtotal. Everything looks good to me. So with that in mind, that is kind of a quick rundown. I shouldn't say quick, but a rundown of how to use our Receipt Builder UI. If you have any questions, please reach out to your CSM, and they're more than happy to walk you through this and ensure that you fully understand it. Thanks.